Good evening, good evening, good evening, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We're not going through the disclaimers tonight. I want to get at least 2 videos done before, Christmas here in the next couple of days. And yeah, Christmas has exploded all over the place. And it's making, my autistic self a little bit tweaky because it's too much change. Yeah. So, we're going to get straight into it. I am going to say, if you are unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you're going to find pertinent links right there in the description box. Also, trigger warning, we do tend to use profanity on occasion. We do speak on dark subjects. If you are 16 or younger, or your kids are, and they're watching this, parental supervision, y'all get what I'm saying, right? Sorry. I'm a little discombobulated today because I got one new machine for the weight room, and for whatever reason, Amazon is this full believer of box within a box within a box, so, plah. Alright. Now remember, we are going over the LE situation, the type of situation that the JRC has tried to paint in as bleak a manner as humanly possible so that we can say, well, obviously this person is more autistic than any person that's ever been autistic, and surely they need to be stuck on a torture device. It doesn't pass the sniff test. From their own narrative, no less, we were to pull out, with a certainty, at least 2 anti-epilepsy drugs, medications that LE was receiving. Within the list of the quote-unquote bad behaviors were at least 4 to 5 so-called behaviors that are not behaviors at all. They literally had nothing to do with, the behavior's so bad they're aggressive, and more had to do with, this is what it looks like when somebody's going through a grand mal seizure. Even the part with the aid did not work, because if you do have people who have epilepsy in your family, or if you ever worked in this field, you are I can't talk. You're pretty well aware of the fact that usually most public schools, if you're lucky, may have one aide who knows what to do in those situations. So when they're saying, and then after that nobody can control them, let's just say they put enough details to shoot their own narrative down. Yeah. So we're going to be gaslit. I'm probably going to be triggered. We're going to try to make it quick. This next paragraph is relatively small, so let's go ahead and get started here. For the first 30 weeks LE was at JRC, the staff tried various treatments to curb her aggression, but these produced only a slight decrease in the frequency of her major problem behaviors. JRC, I know 2 disturbing things about you right now. First of all, I know that one of the main things you try to do once you get a student to enter into your program is you do 1 solid week with nothing really going on. You let them do whatever the hell they want. Meanwhile, you have somebody following them stalker style to write down notes about quote unquote behaviors. You then, not long after that week, take that to Dr. Israel. They go to the court. You see what I'm saying here. Number 2, in regards to epilepsy, what they listed previously are not the behaviors of somebody who is mindfully disobeying. or even not so. It's no form of disobedience. It's not an autistic behavior. It's not stimming. Literally, the ones that they try to ram down our throats the hardest are not behaviors at all. They are part of the symptoms of being a person who has epilepsy, who has gone into a grand mal seizure. So, the fact that there was not a slight decrease in that is not surprising to anyone. Okay? Exactly how do they intend to stop with their insanity behaviors that are not behaviors? It's bodily reactions to being in a grand mal. Well, if you look at the JRC, we put them on our shock device and we took away all their meds. Yeah, nothing's gonna go wrong there, will it? How in the name of God people have allowed this to continue to go on without even the slightest bit of scrutiny in the state of Massachusetts will never cease to blow my mind, because how could anyone read the JRC's words right here, knowing what we know, and not only allow it to continue to go on, but to actually have the chutzpah to then use that as a justification for their insanity, when it is very clearly very recognizable symptoms and bodily reactions to folks who have epilepsy. Who the hell wrote this thing? What were they smoking? Was it crack? You're hitting the crack pipe again? 'Cause it looks like you are. But anyways, sorry. But reality is, most of the behaviors mentioned by JRC are not behaviors. They're bodily reactions to having a grand mal seizure, which means you could shock them repeatedly into doomsday. None of those so-called behaviors are ever going to go away or stop, because that's how a human body responds to a grand mal seizure. Okay? Seriously, starting to think that if you're going to work in this field, you need to have an IQ test first, because what in the actual name of God? Anyways, LE required over 150 restraints in a 6-month period, and about 11% of these restraints injured either LE or the staff. Again, when someone has epilepsy and they are going into an episode and they need to be restrained, it has nothing to do with their fucking behavior. It has to do with the fact that during seizure, these folks have no control whatsoever over their body. Okay? None. None. Folks who go through that back to back to back, like my ex did, where they'd be like 5 minutes between each going into a grand mal, you restrain them not because they're in bad behavior, or because they're being willfully aggressive. It's because during those types of seizures, the jerking of the body, the arms, the legs, and the limbs can and will, you'll get an elbow to the ribs. Maybe a hand to the ribs, the elbow in the back. Knee in the back. Sorry, I'm just kind of thinking back here. None of that was that person in control of at the time. There is no such thing as controlling a person who is having a seizure. Okay? But they hurt the staff. Yes, JRC, I know. Having restrained folks who have had grand mals, myself, on multiple occasions, I am very well aware about the fact that staff or someone like myself can get seriously hurt during that. Okay? Well aware. But here's the thing. Considering all the information we've been given by the JRC, by LE, we are not being told here whether this is regards to a behavior they were having or if these injuries, staff getting hurt and what have you, are due from the many risks that one may endure when you're trying to assist someone in a seizure. Because, yeah, folks, you can get fucked up trying to help someone, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Okay? That means when these staff members and everyone were getting hurt, it was not being done by LE in order to hurt anyone. It was happening because that's what happens sometimes. So, JRC, considering you're the ones who put this forward here, would you please explain to the class why you felt like you didn't have to explain in regards to what you're putting here, whether what you're talking about was willful behavior or is it things that occurred while LE was seizing? Because, yeah, you really do need to answer that question. Some of the behaviors, let's go back up here. We're going to look at them just to remind you all. Right? Let's go back up here. Overstimulation, drooling, urinary incontinence, tremors, headaches, sedation. Guess what those are symptoms of? You also included Klonopin. And where is it? I saw it here. Ativan, yes. Ativan. Those are medications used to treat people with epilepsy. So kind of like that clinical study that they want us to take seriously. The way they're portraying it makes no coherent sense. You can't throw anti-seizure medication in here randomly. List some symptoms that actually do happen when a person is having a seizure and then call that problem behaviors, because It's not clear cut, is it, folks? No, not at all. In fact, things are so unclear from the way that they wrote this that we do not know in regards to the aid whether that had to do with behaviors or because that kid has epilepsy. And like most public schools, you only have one token person who knows how to handle that situation. So which is it, JRC? Are they behaviors or is it epilepsy? And at this point, considering how stupid your whole program is, do you even know anymore? You know? We're going to go ahead and close on out on that one, folks. I got to get back to where I was here first for the next video because we're doing these back to back. All right, folks. I do want to thank you for your time this evening checking out with us the JRC madness. We don't get very many reviews on this channel. The few we do tend to get removed from time to time, so folks, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Please don't forget to utilize those comments. I appreciate your time tonight. As always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I'll see you all in a few seconds. Bye-bye, everyone.